Welcome to Hagerstown Forward, a podcast where we highlight the people and issues that bring Hagerstown forward. We are Magnus and Marie Dahlgren, your hosts. In this episode, we talk to Ryan Beachley. Ryan is a local entrepreneur and community advocate. He is a lifelong resident of Hagerstown with a passion for moving the community forward. And now, here is our conversation with Ryan Beachley. Okay, Ryan Beachley, here we are.
All right.
So, just a quick introduction. This is Hagerstown Forward, and what we're interested in is talking to people who bring Hagerstown forward.
Okay.
Talk about the good things that we do, the good things that we have, and also get to know the people behind these efforts so we know who we're talking to.
Okay.
So, you're Ryan Beachley. How would you like to be introduced?
I guess born and raised in Hagerstown, and local entrepreneur and community advocate.
Community advocate
in the sense that we started a Revitalizing Hagerstown movement, and it's focused on three pillars. It's community or economic development for the downtown, workforce development, and we focus on the opioid crisis, how we fix that and what we need to do to move that forward and help people.
Could you please share some of your goals for the next 5 years, personal and private?
Okay. Well, I'm getting married in November, so the goal is to be a good husband and raise a family with my fiance and future wife, Tori. The second goal would be more of a professional goal, is to grow my business, not just in this area, but start to branch out into DC, Virginia, Baltimore, and really see where that goes. And then my third goal would be to help Hagerstown move forward and better the community and draw more attention to what we're doing right, rather than just dwell on what's not being done right or the negative things.
And why it's so important for you to do these things, not only for yourself, but for Hagerstown too?
Well, I think you have an obligation to society to do what you can to make it better. A lot of people like to complain and focus on the negativity, and I think that's not productive. Everybody can complain, but people need to get out there and start doing things. Whether it's start a business, start a nonprofit that helps people, or just start engaging with people in the community that need help. So I think that's important. The only way that we're going to raise Hagerstown up is through community. I strongly believe in that. Not one person can do it themselves. So that's really what we're trying to do with Revitalize Hagerstown, is bring the community together, bring the business world, the citizens, and the nonprofits together to start working together to bring Hagerstown forward.
Yeah, that's very important.
Can you share with us a personal habit that you have or a daily routine that you think contributes to your success?
To set a goal for myself every day and try to accomplish that goal.
Just one, or
well, I mean, I've got a lot of different goals, but I figure I don't want to set myself up for failure. So I try to learn something new every day and solve a new problem, whether it be with my business or a relationship that I have or something in the community that I can impact.
Okay. And what motivates you to keep going? Days are different, right?
Yeah, I mean, some days you look at things and nothing goes right. And the goal that I have when that happens is to look back at that day and look back at what took place and what I can do to course correct or move forward and learn from the mistakes and look at failures as opportunities to become better.
Talking about failures, we all experience this part of life. And would you share with us your biggest failure and what have you learned from this failure?
The biggest failure, I think, that I've gone through, I've had a lot, but it was a company that my friend and I had started right after we graduated college. Then we started our MBAs. The biggest regret there is getting out too early and giving up. So if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to start a business, or you're going to try to accomplish something, you're going to have things along the way that make you fearful that you're not going to succeed, that are going to be roadblocks. But if you persevere through them, you can accomplish things. So that's the biggest thing that I've learned over my 30 years of life.
Okay.
That's great. Thank you for sharing.
What would you say your passion is? Or passions, if there's more than one that you're...
Well, golf is a big passion of mine. I love golf. That's kind of sort of my release.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that people don't know about me is I love to grill. So that's another way that I decompress and relax.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, I just like it. Another passion I have is helping people. I think that more people need to start doing that. You see a lot of people that will just walk by someone who's in need and not help them. And I'm not saying give them handouts, but there's a lot of other ways that you can help them that will be better for them in the long run. Like you could, like they say, give a man a fish or teach a man to fish.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather be the teach a man to fish. That way he doesn't need me anymore.
Right.
And I can move on to the next person to help them.
Okay,
So would it be accurate to say that growth and contribution are the most big values in your life?
Yeah, in everything that I do, my relationships with my fiance, with my family, with the business that I have, and then all of the community work that I do.
And could you recall the moment in your life when you decided that these two values, growth and contribution, are the best and the most important things in your life? Or you were always like that?
I don't know when I realized that. I guess I've always been opportunistic. And then over the past couple of years, I just started getting involved in a lot of different things. And through doing all of those things, I learned what I didn't like and what I did like. Mm-hmm. And where I landed is being an entrepreneur and also helping the community that I live in. Because Hagerstown, when I grew up, was a lot different than it is now. I don't want to focus on the past because that's already written. The present's pretty much going to be the past in 2 seconds. So we've got to be forward thinking and looking at the future and how we change and course correct what's going on here. And I live here, so I want it to be a better place for me, my friends, my fiance, my children in the future, and for everyone else that lives here.
That's great.
That's what I used to hear when I grew up here, that the kids who were here, they thought it was too slow and too sedate and there wasn't anything to do. But then it turned out it's a great place to raise a family.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Well, I don't like traffic. So, we're so close to DC, so close to Frederick, but we can come here and, it's a lot more relaxing. So we're close enough to the city where we can go have a fun weekend in Washington, DC, but then we can come home and back to reality and calm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's true.
So we're like the back porch of Maryland where we can kick back. And
we're the place that you relax and have a good time.
I just wanted to mention that I'm impressed with your values, to be honest, because I study a little bit coaching and psychology, and when person focuses on growth and contribution, it's very good because it's the only way to live fulfilled life.
Oh, well, I'm glad I'm on the right track.
Yes, so congratulations,
well, thank you.
And it's very impressive.
We know you're involved with the Exchange Club.
Mm-hmm.
So why did you decide to join?
Just to broaden my personal my personal and professional network. One of my friends, he joined. He was someone that I met through Gen Next. It's a young professionals group that I started at the chamber with the help of some other people. Mm-hmm. But once I did that with the chamber, and I really liked networking and meeting people and building relationships in the community. And he told me about the club, and I was like, you know what, I'm not in a club, so I'll try it out. And I went there, and it's such a good group of people. They do a lot for the community. They like to help out. So I think that I can make a better impact through that club. It's just another way to give back to the community.
And what do you like the most in networking? You said it's
just meeting new people, and it's almost like a coalition when you meet people and you find out that they do this and you do that, and there's opportunities to work together. Mm-hmm. You meet like-minded individuals that can help do things for the community, do things for your business. You make new friends. So I like broadening my network of people. Just
okay. Could you tell us a story of a time in your journey when you experienced an aha moment, when you got to a point where you said, "Oh, so that's how it is"? Or if you had several. Doesn't have to be one.
Let's see. Like the aha moment. When I figured out I wanted to marry my fiance, that was an aha moment for me. And then when I met my partner for the Revitalizing Hagerstown, Billy, he owns Tri-County Pumps. We met through one of my coworkers at the time before I went out on my own fully. And, we were just having a casual lunch, and we were both talking about what we thought about Hagerstown, and we realized that we had like-minded views. So we bounced around the idea of holding some kind of event where we can bring people into a room, and rather than just make people aware of the issues, work towards a solution. Yeah. We bounced that around for a little bit, and then we finally we were at lunch one time, we were like, we're going to do it. So that was our aha moment, and then we realized how hard it was to plan an event. Okay. And then it was kind of like, oh, can we pull this off? And it was definitely challenging. It was the first time that either of us ever tried to do anything of that magnitude. We ended up raising about $6,000 through ticket sales and sponsorships from businesses. We donated the ticket sales. The proceeds from the ticket sales all went to 5 different nonprofits. And then the money raised for sponsorships was rolled back into the organization so we can throw another event and keep moving forward. So I guess after we completed the event and saw the impact that it had and the feedback that we got from the audience, that was another aha moment for us. Like, okay, we're on to something. We got to do it again. So those probably would be some of the most memorable. Ironically, they're not too far from today, but yeah, I mean, you don't know when they're going to come. That's why they call it aha. Mm-hmm. But those would be the two most probably critical in my life.
Okay. That's great. You mentioned going out on your own with your business. What is your business and what does it do?
So I have a business that does custom manufacturing. So I can do restaurant seating. I can do metal working with steel. It started as the company was originally called the Beachley Artisan Group. So the concept behind it was to bring together a group of artisans that could fulfill needs of different clients. And I started making custom beer tap handles for one of the brewery that I'm a part owner in, Antietam Brewery. So that got me going. And then finally I just realized I don't want to work for someone else. I want to work for myself. I want to take a company in a direction that I want to go in. And I want to control the company's purpose and how it impacts a community. So I made the decision just to jump. So that was another aha moment, followed by a oh shit moment. Like, now it's real. But the biggest lesson I learned through that is, your business, you might think today this is what you're going to do. And then 2 weeks later, it's changed. So you have to kind of roll with the punches and accept the evolution of the business. And that's how I got into doing custom kitchens, because I have kitchen cabinet suppliers. Then I can do boardroom tables. I can even make the table like what we're sitting here at. So it's the business has definitely evolved quickly, which is good, and it allows me to move quickly because I can pretty much do anything. It's truly custom. It's what the customer wants, and when you're doing that, it's kind of easy to make sure you're successful because everybody needs something, and if you can deliver that to them, it helps. So I find myself getting pulled in a lot of different directions, but it's exciting because every day is different. So
it's interesting. And would you share with us your strangest talent?
My strangest talent. I can do the Happy Gilmore golf swing and hit it down the middle of the fairway.
That's pretty impressive.
That is my strangest talent. I have a video of it, but I don't think I have it on this film.
And for our listeners who are not familiar with the Happy Gilmore swing, I believe swing. I believe it's when you take a running start.
Yes.
Almost like doing a slap shot.
Yeah. So
in ice hockey.
Yeah, you run and you hit the ball while you're running and throw your whole body through it. I first realized I could do that when I was probably about 15 years old.
Of course, you had to try it when you were 15 years old.
Yeah, I just decided. I don't know why I tried it, but I did. And the first one went right down the middle, so then I just kept trying again and realized I could do it. Now, it doesn't do it every time, but...
More often than not, to be impressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting.
So we touched a little bit on what you're working on to bring Hagerstown forward. You talked about the meeting that you put together, and are there other things that you're involved in?
I serve on a couple different boards. I'm on the board of the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm also on the board of the ARC of Washington County. Two great organizations in Hagerstown that significantly impact our community and help a lot of different people. They truly are great organizations.
Okay. And you talked about this meeting that you put together that you had challenges with. What's the next step in that direction? So
we're already planning our next one. It's Revitalize Hagerstown 2.0. This one's going to be at the Washington County Museum of Fine Arts. And we've partnered with Works. It's a local website design company. Their branding company. Laura Wallace is very prominently known in the community. We've partnered also with an individual that has lived through what a lot of people in Hagerstown are suffering and completely changed his life. So he'll be speaking at this event. He's going to walk people through how he got to where he was and how he has completely course corrected and changed his life and beat addiction. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a pretty powerful, I think, message that he's going to deliver. And the whole reason that we want to do that is because we want to show people that, there is hope. It's not impossible, because you have so many people that look at people that are going through that and they say that you're not going to make it. The statistics aren't good. But what we're doing right now is, I think, helping, but we've got to work harder to find a better solution. And I think that this individual, he's found it. And for the people in the audience or the people that listen, if they hear it, that's great. If they take something away from it, that's great. And I hope it helps them on their road to recovery. And I think it will. So the thread that we're using for this event is revitalize yourself, revitalize your business, revitalize Hagerstown.
That's great. Yeah, sounds great.
When did you decide to work on bringing Hagerstown forward? Was there a defining moment, or was this?
Well, one of the things that really was just gut-wrenching is I'm tired of seeing people that I went to high school with, or that I know through other people, or that are just my age, dying. I mean, it's terrible. And I've known people that have gone through it, and I mean, they're still going through it.
We're talking about the
opioid crisis. And so that right there was just something that, there's got to be a way we can help people. And then I started hearing people say, Hagerstown's not a good place to live. I don't want to live here because there's, a drug problem. The downtown's in complete disarray. And it's not true. Mm-hmm. And, I think that it's one of those, we went out to A, help people, and B, show people that Hagerstown is a great city to live in, and there's a lot of good, positive things here. Mm-hmm. And focusing on all of the negative things will not move you forward.
Right.
You're just going to stay there, spinning your wheels in the mud, mm-hmm. complaining.
That gets me to the next question I had, which was, from your perspective, what is Hagerstown or the Hagerstown region's single biggest challenge or problem?
Outside of the three things that we focus on with Revitalize Hagerstown, I think the common denominator is we need to work more as a community and stop working against each other. We have a lot of organizations that all do some of the same things, mm-hmm. and rather than try to get to the finish line first, mm-hmm. why don't we all cross the finish line together or help each other get there? Mm-hmm. And I understand that there's a lot of nonprofits that they need funding, so they're competing for funding. And there's a lot of people that have agendas on what they're doing, so they're trying to get there first too. But I think that that's one of the things that is limiting the speed at which we can succeed, which is kind of like a big game of tug of war, and nobody's stronger than the other. So I think that if we drop the rope and work together, we could solve more of the problems quicker.
And who or what can unite all these organizations together?
That's what we're trying to do with Revitalize Hagerstown. We're trying to bring the community together, bring the business world together, and then bring these nonprofits together and try to get them all in the same room so we can work in tandem. Because a lot of people and a lot of businesses just also don't know what some of these organizations do.
Yes.
At the last event, we had a local business in the audience, and he raised a complaint. I can't find people to work for me. I can't find good applicants. One of the nonprofit leaders in the audience stood up and said, well, I've got plenty of people that are looking for jobs, and I never knew that Goodwill was recruiting. They have an arm that does recruiting for businesses. So as a result of that, 13 people were sent to this company to interview for a job, and I believe some of them got hired. So without that event, that would never have happened. So it's bringing people together, it's uniting them, it's trying to inspire them and give them the knowledge to be more effective.
Is it possible that there's an inflation of nonprofits in Hagerstown, that there's so many that there are some people who believe, oh, this problem is not being addressed. Meanwhile, there is an organization that they don't know about, but here they go setting up a very similar organization for almost the same goal or the same, and all of a sudden you have two organizations fighting for the same money to solve the same problem.
Yep.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that I think is limiting our success, in the sense that we're not getting there fast enough, because most of these nonprofits, they pull from a network of people that they know, or that support the organization. This group supports nonprofit A, and then the other group, this other nonprofit B, has their group. But those nonprofits do pretty much the same thing, but then the funds are split.
And you get inefficiencies in how the funds are used.
And I mean, I think that all those nonprofits, they do great work, but I think
no doubt.
I think that working together and help, and that would probably, I think, impact the community in a different way, a way that we've never seen. We would see more growth. We would see more progress being made. I mean, there were there were nonprofits that were a little angered at what we did because they felt we didn't include them. Well, we can't include everyone. I mean, you just can't do it. There's too many. And with that attitude, it just makes it too competitive. And we're all here trying to solve one goal. We're all in the same team. So rather than competing against your teammate, you should probably work together.
Yes, like a team.
It's like a soccer team. If all the people on the team are competing against each other to see who can score first, you're going to be taking the ball from your teammate, rather than passing and working it down the field strategically to score.
Okay. During our conversation, you mentioned that I move fast, or it's not enough, or we will not have enough speed, or will not move fast. So my question is, why it's so important for you to move fast?
Well, I don't think that we need to necessarily move fast to solve all three of those issues. I do believe that you need to address the workforce development, the economic development of the downtown, and the opioid crisis at the same time. And the reason I say we need to try to move quickly is because on one leg of that tripod, people are dying, and that's not cool. That's why we have to move quickly. I mean, I'm tired of seeing people that I knew or I knew of that were my age dying. It's senseless. It's not. I mean, it's just not good.
And in your opinion, what are the reasons of this crisis?
I mean, there's a lot of different. I mean, everybody, there's a lot of different theories of how it happened, but I think that the use and prescribing of prescription drugs has definitely driven people to ultimately do heroin. I mean, they start using pills. They don't necessarily think it's bad because it's a prescription from a doctor. And then before they know it, they're, spending all their money on pills. Then they've got heroin over here. It does pretty much the same thing, and it's cheaper. So then they go and buy heroin. And then, it's kind of a downward spiral.
So prescription drugs are almost like a gateway drug to
I think
illicit drugs.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is somewhat ironic. But
yeah, and I think that the lack of education in the school system. I think when I was growing up, we had DARE. We had a police officer come in with a board or like a box, or I don't know what you'd call it, but it had all different kinds of drugs on it. Not the real thing, but it had a list. And we went through, and he told us all about the drugs and what they do to you, why they were bad, what would happen to you if you sold them, what would happen to you if you got caught buying them. And we pretty much learned we don't want to do drugs. But I don't think they do that in the school system anymore. I haven't seen Scruff McGruff on TV. Like, they used to run ads on that. Kevin Simmers has said, and I believe him, he's a good friend, that the school system educates kids more on smoking, the dangers of smoking, than they do the dangers of drugs and opiates. That's a problem.
Yes.
It's if you're a kid and you're 15 years old or 12 years old or 17 years old, you don't really understand the magnitude of what one bad decision can do. And this heroin stuff, it doesn't discriminate. It's not like, oh, you come from a good background, I'm not going to latch into you. You do it, it's going to be the same result as it is for the other person who didn't come from a good background. So it truly doesn't discriminate, and I think that's why educating the youth is critical. But we can't focus all of our attention on educating the youth and neglect the people that are suffering right now. And this is more preventative and proactive, and this is reactive. But it's hard to solve both, and there's a lot of resources that you need to solve both. It's become a problem that it's gotten out of control, and that's why I say speed is important, because the longer it takes to solve it, the more people that get addicted here, the more kids that don't understand about the dangers of drugs. The longer we wait, that just grows. So we've got to, unfortunately, time is not on our side. And it's just a fact.
What are some of the best things about the Hagerstown area, and how can we best use those resources to benefit Hagerstown?
If anyone looks into what the city's willing to give you to bring your business downtown, buy a building downtown. I know that if you buy a building downtown and it's in the designated area, if you spend $250,000, the city will give you a grant for $250,000. If you buy a building downtown and you put something to do with the arts in it, and you're in that zone, they'll give you a low interest rate loan for $400,000.
Interesting.
The city is truly pushing to help revitalize the town, but again, I don't think everybody knows about that. I think that more people need to know about it, because I'd like free $250,000. You go and buy a building, you put $250 in, and then you get another $250. Think how great you can make that building.
Oh yeah.
Think how many businesses you could put in that building. One of my friends, Aaron, he owns Mulberry Lofts, and he's got tons of businesses in there, and it's a beautiful building. You can see it right when you're coming into town, and we need more stuff like that. And I think that you can't use what you don't know.
Yes.
And then there's we've got the Museum of Fine Arts. We've got the new renovations to the Maryland Theater, the Cultural Trail. There's a lot of good things happening right now that are moving Hagerstown in the right direction.
What is the value of downtown Hagerstown? We who live in the area, we have access to everything. Why do we need a revitalized downtown? A downtown that's thriving again, because we could go to the mall, we could go to the cinema. We have access to all those things that downtown used to have.
Yeah.
What does a revitalized downtown bring us?
That's a good question. I mean, the downtown Hagerstown is almost the heart of Hagerstown. Mm-hmm. And you look at Frederick. You go down to Market Street. I mean, it's truly the center of Frederick. They've got a lot of great things on the outside of the Market Street, but that's where all the action is happening. Mm-hmm. Not to mention, there's a lot of buildings downtown that, I mean, they're falling down in some places.
Right. In Hagerstown,
yeah,
not Frederick.
Not in Frederick, not in Frederick. In Hagerstown,
right? And
it's not safe.
Right.
And I mean, we could try to avoid, fixing the downtown, but I don't think that that's going to move Hagerstown in the right direction, because then you've got everything that's really developed and nice, and then you just go into here and it's like in the center, and it's just, we have to fix it. It won't. I mean, I guess we could not, but I think we should fix it. I think that there's a lot of historical things downtown Hagerstown. Some of those buildings are really old. There's a lot of Hagerstown heritage down there, and I think that revitalizing it and making it look nice is good for the community. You've got the schools moving in down there, University of Maryland. You got Barbara Ingram School. So I mean, I think that it's moving in the right direction. I think we should fix it. I think there's no point in not.
So it's a matter of community spirit, maybe?
Yeah, community spirit. And I mean, when you fix the downtown and more businesses come, that creates more jobs for people. Mm-hmm. It creates more housing, because eventually, as people overpopulate Frederick, they're going to come here. Mm-hmm. So having a fixed up downtown, I mean, there's places for people to live. I mean, you look at Washington, D.C. or Baltimore, there's some really, really nice areas in those cities that a lot of young professionals live in, a lot of great looking buildings. So I think that we should do that here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's obvious economic benefit.
Yes.
Okay. What do you think are some of the things that we haven't realized yet but they're within reach that could benefit us and bring us to the next level? We don't quite have it yet, but it's almost there.
I mean, I think that we're obviously working in the right direction. There's a lot of things that are happening that are going to make the downtown what it once was. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we're not there yet, but I think that we're definitely in the right direction. So I don't know if I really...
Well, I'm thinking maybe like a convention center or... doesn't have to be just downtown. It could be the area itself, but something that you see on the horizon.
I think bringing the University of Maryland in down there, mm-hmm. and having dorm rooms down there, I think that is something that once that project is finished is going to drastically change the situation downtown, because now you've got college students that they might be getting disposable income from their parents, or they need a job while they're working down there. So the guy that owns a restaurant now can employ someone. You obviously bring all these students down. You're going to have people moving throughout the town, buying things. They got to eat. They want to be entertained. Mm-hmm. So I think that is what's on that on the horizon is probably like we're almost there. And once we get that there, it's going to start moving things faster. Mm-hmm. I think.
Okay. Hagerstown world class is a concept that I have. Which of these things that you've mentioned are worthy of being promoted as world class? Something that we're going to tell the world, hey, come look at this. It's rare, if not the only thing.
Well, if you look at the newspaper, we've got there's some comments that hit the world stage. But I don't think we need Hagerstown branded in that way.
Right.
I mean, one of my favorite places downtown is Schmuckelstube, the authentic German food. I mean, that restaurant is always busy, mm-hmm. and it's been in Hagerstown for so long. I don't know how long it's been there, but definitely more than my lifetime. Mm-hmm. And when the Maryland Theater gets done, that's going to be something. I've seen what it's supposed to look like when it's finished, and that's going to be a world class theater. It's definitely better than the Weinberg and Frederick when it's done.
Right.
What else? mean, the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts. There's a lot of talented youth that have gone to school there and gone out and had prosperous careers. I've seen some of them perform at the Maryland Theater when they do the plays. So I think that's kind of something that is almost at world-class level.
And that's going to grow too.
Yeah.
Barbara Ingram School. I think I heard the number of 500 students going to attend.
Yeah, I mean, they've really grown that school. And I mean, I think it's great. I think that because not every kid growing up wants to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we have that downtown, like, I don't think Frederick has one of those. So we got one up on them.
Well, it's a start.
It's definitely a start.
We keep comparing ourselves to Frederick, and I think we're working towards the day when Frederick compares themselves to us. If we could only be like Hagerstown.
Yeah, that's how it used to be. Frederick used to compare themselves to us, and then the tables have flipped. Mm-hmm. But we'll get there.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be better.
Right. No doubt. We will.
No doubt. We're going there. Hagerstown forward.
Yeah.
Going past Frederick. Or we'll bring Frederick along. Hagerstown's nickname is Hub City. Once upon a time, we were a hub for the railroads. Is Hagerstown still a hub, and what is Hagerstown a hub of?
Well, there's been news articles out there that have said we're a hub of some bad stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think that, we used to be a hub city of manufacturing. I mean, we had the railroads. We had I think at one point like 3 furniture companies downtown that were manufacturing. We had a pipe organ manufacturer. We have Spring Works. I mean, there was a lot of manufacturing here. And to be quite honest, I don't think that that's what we'll be the hub of. I think that we have an opportunity to be the hub of education and the arts. I mean, we have the University of Maryland putting a school in downtown and putting more dorms in and offering more classes there. That we could become a hub of that. We've got Frostburg. There's other universities that have now partnered in down there. And we've got the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's necessarily what we would become the hub of, but we have to stop holding on to we were the hub of manufacturing, because it's not coming back. Like, I mean, it could, but I don't see that happening.
In a different format, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see that. Right. And the reason I don't see that is because, we talk about workforce development. Mm-hmm. There are not, like, trade jobs and skilled labor jobs. I mean, there's a big demand for them. Like, right. Companies need them, but they're not here. And I think that, when you look at how the school system, models success to a student, you got to go to college. Well, I went to college and I have a master's, and I can tell you it helped a little bit, but I didn't need to spend that much money. I could have gone to HCC for 2 years and know everything that I need to know. Obviously, the accounting and finance, that was pretty critical. But I could have learned that and not invested that much money. There's other kids that they might not want to be sitting in an office all day. And maybe they like working with their hands. But if they're being told their entire school career that if you want to be successful, you've got to go to college, they're not going to follow that dream or follow that passion. They're going to try to find something else. They're not going to be happy because they're not following what they really want to do. So I think that that's one reason that the manufacturing is left, because those jobs aren't here. Or the people who aren't here to fill them. So that's one of the reasons we're focusing on workforce development. I mean, we've got electricians that are graduating high school or going through the ABC program that when they're done, they're making $80,000 or $90,000 a year. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's pretty good for a 20-year-old kid, or not kid, young adult. And then I think that that message needs to be put into the school system. The school system needs to talk about it. And the Tech High does a great job, but I mean, some parents don't know what the Tech High is. And if their kid comes home and says, well, I want to go to the Tech High because I want to be an electrician. Mm-hmm. And even the parents are thinking, well, I've been told like college is where you got to go. So I think that we have to change that mindset, shift that paradigm.
That the myth is you have to go to college.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people that didn't go to college that are very, very successful, that own their own businesses and that have done very, very well for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we need to change that mindset, that college is the only way. Because college has become, in my opinion, such a huge, big business. I mean, look how much college generates in revenue every year. I mean, student loan debt has surpassed credit card debt. Like, I mean, think how many people have a credit card. And how much people have as a limit on those credit cards. And now we've got student debt that's only, you know, people from 18 generally on average to 22 surpassed all of credit card debt. I mean, that's like the real estate bubble. The only thing that's protecting it from bursting is you cannot default on student loans. You are on the hook for that money. You can't declare bankruptcy. It will never go away. So you've got kids that are coming out of college that have $200,000 in debt. It's a mortgage.
Take until they're 50 to pay off.
Yeah.
Plus a mortgage.
Exactly.
Plus kids.
So, yeah, let me tell kids that go to college. You'll be successful. Here, by the way, $200,000 in the hole. When you want to buy a house, you're going to have to try to figure that out because no bank's going to lend you the money when you're that far in debt. Mm-hmm. I mean, they need to change that. That mindset needs to be changed. Mm-hmm. Or something needs to come in and start limiting what these colleges can charge kids. Because someone going to school, like I went to Mount St. Mary's, and there were people that were there as art majors, paying the same as what I was paying to get a degree in business or accounting or finance. My potential earnings, on average, for a student in accounting is drastically different than a student learning art. I mean, you can be successful, but it's kind of like trying to be a professional athlete. You've got to be so much better than everybody else to make a lot of money in that, or to even think about paying that huge loan you just took out. So I think that needs to be explored. Maybe adjusting college tuitions to where it can, model what you're going to make in the future, like base it off of potential earnings, or start pushing and educating kids on skilled labor.
So market rates for expected earnings of
majors. I mean, if you're
an engineer is going to make more than
than a person learning pottery.
There we go.
I took a pottery class in college, and I mean, there were people that were in that class that's what they were majoring in. Mm-hmm. Now, they're going to make a lot of pots to get out of. To get out of that.
They could own a pot making business, I suppose, but
yeah, they could.
But
I don't know if the large part of that group would. Right. I mean, a small percentage might, but I don't know. I think it's something that they need to look at because, I mean, it's a problem that's going to eventually come to surface.
But that's what makes a community college valuable.
Exactly.
You can get the basics, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Accounting and finance and some of the business basics.
Yeah.
And you don't have to travel hours or days away to get your degree unless you really need that degree.
Yeah. You can save a lot of money, and also when you're 18, you might not know what you want to do. Yeah. I mean, you could go to a community college and take a lot of different courses, and it doesn't cost you as much. I think in Maryland now they're talking about giving free community college tuition to families that make under $150,000 or under $125,000. So if you're 18 and your parents make under that, you can go to HCC for free. Mm-hmm. So you can try a lot of different things, and I think they limit you on how many classes you can take for free. Right. But it's something that an 18-year-old has more options at that point. Right. Because to make a decision like, okay, I'm going to be an engineer, you might change your mind in 2 years. Yeah. My sister, she wanted to be a nurse. Well, 2 years in, she changed it, and then she became a teacher. So, I mean, 18-year-olds might not know what they want to do, too. So that's something to think about.
Yeah, I have a question. If you would have a superpower, what is this one thing you would want to change in the world?
It'd be pretty cool to have a time machine. Or be able to travel back in time and stop bad things from happening. That'd be kind of cool. But then we would never learn from things.
Right. History wouldn't repeat itself.
Yeah, wouldn't have the chance. Because you could travel back and prevent it. That'd be kind of cool.
Okay.
Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you would like to mention? Anything we haven't asked you about?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Something we didn't touch on?
No, I mean, I think we pretty much covered a lot of stuff. I mean, the biggest thing that I just want to reinforce is in order to move society forward, we have to band together as a community. And you have to focus on that. Right. Not one person can do it.
We mentioned that this podcast is about the good things, and we want to talk about the good things. What are some of the things that you hear that are myths about the community? Oh, it's such and such. Oh, it's such and such. No, it isn't. That's a myth. That when you get into it and you get involved, you see the numbers, or you see the or you don't see the evidence for what people are saying. For example, there's no parking downtown. No, we have.
Oh, there's tons of parking. There's tons of parking.
With hundreds, if not thousands, of spaces downtown.
Definitely a myth. I think another myth is that the downtown is it's unsafe. I mean, there's definitely certain areas that's not a myth, and I wouldn't necessarily walk down those streets late at night. But I think that the myth that, the perception that people have that I can't go down into the center of the city where the square is and walk around and feel safe, I think that's definitely a myth. If you go down there when they have a play and the play lets out, they block off the street with police officers. I mean, you're not going to get hurt there. No one's going to rob you. I think that is definitely a myth, that downtown is unsafe. I mean, there's obviously certain parts, but as a whole, it's not. I think it's a pretty safe place.
Okay. Yes, I would like to ask you, what would be your message to new entrepreneurs, to young ones who are just in the beginning of their journey, and they're preparing to have this leap of faith? So what would be your message to them?
The biggest message that I could give them would be, don't think you're going to get to the end goal fast. Like, there is no elevator to success. You've got to take the stairs. Every step you take, you learn something. And yes, you're going to fall down a couple stairs and have to go back up. But that is what makes you successful. That is why you become an entrepreneur. And that was what will make you a more effective entrepreneur, is understanding that you're going to be faced with new challenges every day, and rather than running away or trying to avoid them, you've got to solve them.
So is being an entrepreneur, is the goal of being an entrepreneur more of fulfilling your passion and perseverance rather than making money? In other words, if you get into it just to make money, you might not have the passion for it. What do you see from your?
If you go into, if you want to make a lot of money, and that's why you're going to go be an entrepreneur, I wish you luck, but I don't think you're going to be as successful as you think. Because if you are only trying to make money and you're not doing what you're passionate about, you will not have the tenacity to never give up. Because if all you want to do is make money, as soon as you don't make money, you're going to go out and try to get a job and you're going to quit. Yeah. So if I were you, I'd save yourself the trouble and just not do it.
Okay.
Because even you have to be passionate about it. You have to want to wake up in the morning and say, man, I can't wait to start doing this. Because you're the one that's writing your paycheck. It's not someone else. You've got to get up and fail and get back up and fail again and get back up and fail again to be successful. I mean, you have. And someone that's just in it for money, I don't think they might be successful, but they won't have fun doing it, and they won't get there as quickly.